Hey, you will not believe what just went down in court this week. The feds came swinging hard at Diddy, and baby, they did not hold back. Prosecutors basically dragged him in front of the jury and ripped him apart piece by piece. We're talking federal agents exposing every dark, dirty secret they found inside his Florida mansion. The raid, that jaw-dropping moment happened back in March 2024, and yes, it was caught live on television. Cameras everywhere. The agents didn't just hit his Miami Beach paradise. No, they stormed another lavish property in Los Angeles too. That was the day the public realized Diddy wasn't just in hot water, he was practically drowning in it. On day 8 of this bombshell trial, prosecutors pulled jurors into a detailed walkthrough of the Miami raid. What they painted wasn't just a messy celebrity lifestyle, it was a criminal enterprise. They're trying to prove that Diddy wasn't just partying. He was allegedly running a twisted operation filled with drugs, control, and behavior that'll make your skin crawl.
Got about 40 bottles of baby oil and Astroglide all together, and mind you, this is only out of one house, and they got a total of 1,000 bottles from all of the houses. This box right here is the box that Diddy would keep his green stuff in. This is not the wooden box that you heard the Homeland Security agent talk about. That box is actually right here, and this is what contained a numerous amount of different illegal substances. The fact that Diddy had liquid MDMA and liquid METH is crazy. This is how you know this man does not care. He literally had some of this stuff just laying out in the open right next to a $100 bill. Substances on different things. This is the Gucci bag that had a whole bunch of more substances in it that Diddy is trying to say is somebody else's. He had the Homeland Security agent look at a photo that was not shown to the public or other people that were in the courtroom, only to the jury. And he's basically doing this trying to say that somebody else was obviously in a photo with this Gucci bag. This right here is Golden Teachers, and it is a pill form of mushrooms. Diddy had so many weapons with the serial numbers shaved off of them that it was crazy. Like, he had these ones wrapped in a towel. These parts were found in his closet. This one was in a suitcase. Diddy's argument to the Homeland Security agent was really, don't you have weapons in your home? Well, duh, he's an agent, but I'm sure he doesn't have weapons that have shaved serial numbers. He had a whole bunch of 7-inch high heels, and I'm sorry, I'm confused. What girls are coming over to your house without shoes on? Also, things like toys and rope, that vital honey that helps you stay performing. Here's another drawer that was filled with outfits and toys. These are the boots sitting next to Diddy's shoes, where he would have 3 cell phones hidden inside these boots. And I'm confused, like, why are you hiding cell phones in boots? I don't know if this is like a blackmail thing, if this is where he kept these freak off videos, or really what is going on. And last but not least, this is a picture of Diddy's bathroom where he has messages wrote on his mirror with lipstick. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of creepy because these messages don't make sense. I want to know, is Diddy writing this to himself on his mirror in his bathroom? In marker it says, what do you want? And then it says, love you, love Diddy. And then it says, you're a legend. I can't tell what this says, but then it says Team Puff Daddy.
Now let's talk about something that had everyone's jaw on the floor. Baby oil. Yep, baby oil. Doesn't sound criminal, right? But wait for it. Because prosecutors claim that baby oil and a lubricant called Astroglide were part of what they're calling freak-offs. That's right, wild, out of control with women and male. And guess who confirmed it all? Cassie. Yes, Cassandra Ventura herself. She testified that she went through hundreds of these parties. And it wasn't just show up and vibe. Diddy allegedly had rules. He told her how to look, what to wear, and made her reapply the oil to stay glistening. But here's the horrifying twist. The oil, prosecutors say it was often laced with drugs. So now we're talking about possible substance at these events, and not by choice.
It's not baby oil. It's GHB. Who has 1,000 bottles of baby oil? If baby oil was such a big part of all these parties and all the things that Diddy did to his victims, some celebrities would have made a joke about it here and there. We would have heard about it. Especially Chrissy Teigen couldn't be paid to shut her mouth. That bitch would have cracked a joke about it, for sure. I just watched this man's TikTok about how it's not a baby oil. It has to be laced with drugs. So as I'm reading the comments, someone said, that's why Jaguar Wright said in one of her interviews at the end, she said, blink twice. Blink Twice was a movie with Channing Tatum. He would spray perfume onto women who would make them forget everything. So then somebody else in the comments said, yeah, and GHB is slippery. So I look up, what is it called on the street? Look at the last one, liquid ecstasy. Side effects that include seizures and comas. It was taken off the shelves or something in like the 60s. What is GHB used for in bodybuilding? Performance enhancement additive. What are the positive side effects of GHB? Feelings of euphoria. What is GHB for parents? Usually available as a clear liquid. It's not baby oil. It just makes sense because why would the feds confiscate oil? And how do you get so many people to comply besides money? You drug them.
And it doesn't end there. Prosecutors just might bring Kid Cudi, real name Scott Mescudi, to the stand. Apparently Diddy lost it when he found out Cassie and Cudi were dating. The jealousy? Out of control. Threats were made, and if Kid Cudi actually testifies later this week as rumored, maybe as early as Thursday, oh honey, things will explode. He might spill everything.
So there are actually 2 charges that fall under the RICO charge that Diddy might be found guilty of just based on Kid Cudi. Government alleged in the early morning hours of December 22nd, 2011, the defendant and a co-conspirator kidnapped an individual at Pow Pow Point to facilitate a break-in and entering into the residence of another person called Individual 1. Multiple witnesses would testify at trial to the events surrounding the kidnapping and the break-in. They are also corroborated by police reports and other records. Approximately 2 weeks later, the defendant's co-conspirators set fire to Individual 1's vehicle by slicing open the car's convertible top. Police and fire department reports extensively document the arson and conclude that the fire was intentionally set. Now, under Diddy's big RICO charge, some of the allegations that fall underneath of it are arson and kidnapping. And just to remind you, to be found guilty of the RICO charge, you only have to prove 2 allegations in total. There are a lot more than 2 that fall under Diddy's RICO charge. And this is a big thing that I've seen people so confused about. Where is the RICO? Every single testimony you hear where they bring up security, assistance, and more, that is your RICO. They are alleging that Diddy used co-conspirators in a lot of different illegal activities, which would make it a criminal enterprise, hence RICO charges. Just like with this stuff with Kid Cudi, where they say Diddy and his co-conspirators, or just the co-conspirators themselves. Now, another crazy thing that I found out, they also plan to use a 911 call that somebody placed when Kid Cudi's home was robbed. And we know his home was robbed on December 22nd of 2011. And we know how Cassie Ventura's mother testified today, and she was talking about how she sent Diddy $20,000 because Cassie sent her an email saying that Diddy was threatening her and Kid Cudi. Cassie Ventura sent this email to her mom one day after Kid Cudi's house was broken into on December 23rd of 2011. And she said, threats have been made towards me by Sean Puffy Combs that he is going to release 2 tapes of me. One on Christmas Day, maybe, or right after, or another one sometime soon after that. He also said that he will be having someone hurt me and Kid Cudi physically. He made a point that it wouldn't be by his hands. He actually said he'd be out of the country when it happens, hence by a co-conspirator. We know 2 weeks after this incident is when Kid Cudi's car would get blown.
After 4 intense days of Cassie breaking down on the stand, talking about long drug-filled that left everyone speechless, the government is finally bringing in other witnesses to back her up. You ready for this? Her own mother testified. And what she said? Gut-wrenching. She saw bruises, swelling, signs that her daughter was being... 2 male witnesses also took the stand and dropped a bombshell. They were paid to sleep with Cassie while Diddy watched. Not just watched, he directed it, called it
Cassie Ventura's mom, which the defense didn't want to hear from. And a lot of people thought, I wonder why she's testifying. Would it be gratuitous in some way? Would she move the needle in either direction? But she talked about being scared for her daughter's safety and this $20,000 loan What happened?
So let me get to that in a second, but first I want to read you an email that was shown to the jury as an exhibit in court. This is an email that Cassie sent to her mother, Ann Capricorn Clark, who was one of Diddy's employees.
Under an alias, right?
Under an alias, and yes, here's what she wrote. The threats that have been made towards me by Sean Puffy Combs are that he is going to release 2 explicit sex tapes of me. One on Christmas Day, maybe before or right after, and another sometime soon after that. He also said that he will be having someone hurt me and Scott Muscuddy, you said, Kid Cudi, physically. He made a point that it wouldn't be by his hands. He actually said he'd be out of the country when it happened. So Cassie's mom testifies on the stand. When she read this email, she was physically ill. And of course she would be. This is her daughter. She's scared for her life. So then she said that Diddy demanded that she pay $20,000, as you said, because he was upset that Cassie was with another man. That would be Kid Cudi. And he said, I spent $20,000 on your daughter, so you better pay it back. Now you have Diddy, who at one point was a billionaire, but at this point at least is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and is allowing the mother of his girlfriend to take out a home equity loan to wire the money. He accepted that money, but then he sent it back. Now I want to bring up one more exhibit. There are photos of Cassie with bruises on her body that were shown to the jury, and Cassie's mom said she's the one who took those photos of her daughter when she visited home for Christmas.
It's pretty unbelievable to think about the dynamic of Sean Diddy Combs asking someone for $20,000. The intimation, of course, that he returned it later on, once Diddy and Cassie were back together in some way.
And yes, the relationship triangle between Diddy, Cassie, and Kid Cudi has become the centerpiece of this twisted saga. Cassie told the court that during one freak-off, Diddy saw texts between her and Cudi and completely snapped. According to her, he lunged at her with a wine bottle opener between his fingers. He threatened to leak private videos. He even allegedly said he wanted to blow up Cudi's car while they were out of the country. Like, what? She claimed Diddy said he wanted his friends there to witness the explosion. That's how dark it got. And the courtroom? The scene, packed from wall to wall. People line up before sunrise to try and snag a seat. No cameras allowed inside, so it's either grab a chair in the courtroom or head to the overflow room to watch on a screen. And honey, it's not quiet in there. People gasp, they shout, they cover their mouths like they're watching a finals game. The tension is unreal. Diddy used to walk red carpets with pride. Now, he's trying to win over a room full of people who are slowly turning their backs.
How you feel about Diddy's appearance in court? They saying that he got all gray hair, his facial hair, his hair is all gray. He got a gray sweater on. Like, how you feel about his appearance?
Well, first of all, he can't use that stuff in court. He can't get that behind bars. So his appearance, you think Diddy wants somebody to see him looking like an old man? He can't do nothing about that because they're not gonna let him dye his hair in jail. So he's going out as natural. He could cut his hair low. You understand what I'm saying? But he can't use any dye. They're not gonna give him no dye to take or dye his hair. That's not a choice. That's something that he has to do. And him throwing signs of the heart and everything like that back to his family and stuff, I don't believe the jurors, like that or even care about that.
Yeah, they reported that he got a Bible with him. Like he's reading the Bible during trial.
All that is a front, bro. What happens is that the defense is trying to have him distract himself. So they know it's a possibility that he might break on somebody, break down, or do something. So what they're trying to do, well, read over this, look over this. You understand? So they don't show the real you. Because once the jury find out that's the real him, and he is capable not only beating and threatening somebody and making them have sex, making them go to this place, that place, all over to have sex, then that's when the trafficking part comes in. That's when what she said about him having the guns to go get Suge Knight makes it true, makes it him possessing guns or being able to possess guns being truthful. So when they see all that and all that comes about, That's what's gonna make him get convicted, because they're gonna see his true self.
Gene, though, thinks he's disgusting and that everything Diddy's done will catch up to him.
How you feel about Diddy daughters leaving the trial when Cassie started to testify about all the sexual acts that she engaged in with their dad?
I believe that his daughters had no business up in that courtroom. And I know that they want the jurors to see that he has a family, he has that moral support from them. But see, the prosecution and the defense, especially the defense, had already told Diddy how they was gonna go, because they know their game plans. They know what they're gonna go at and what they're gonna talk about. And they know they was gonna bring those things up. And how dare you have your daughters in there? Maybe that would be their deterrent for never to let somebody do them like that. No matter how famous they want to be. Maybe that's their deterrent. But for have your kids up there to hear some of the nasty shit that you did, and they know you used to fight their mother, they know that you used to do certain things with their mother. That was one of the craziest moves I ever seen. Very selfish. Very selfish. I don't want my daughters to hear me, how they talk about this girl, talking about how I beat her, how I did this, pee in her mouth, all this. Nah. I heard it was so disgusting that one time they had to walk out.
But don't think Diddy's just sitting there like a deer in headlights. Even behind bars, he's moving like a chess master. He's scribbling notes, sliding them to his lawyers, scanning the room, trying to stay in control, just like he allegedly used to run his empire with an iron fist. And then came the two bombshell testimonies of the week. First, Dawn Richard. Remember her from the girl group Danity Kane that Diddy put together? She wrecked the courtroom. She told the jury she personally witnessed Diddy Cassie multiple times. One story was downright chilling. She described a brutal fight involving a hot egg skillet. Then Diddy threatened them both. He said, "Where I'm from, people go missing."
She was attacked by Sean and kicked. Did you see more violence by him against Cassie? Often. The government then shows Dawn Richard a picture of Diddy Dirty Money. When were you a member of this group? 2009 to 2011. The incident in 2009 when Sean Combs beat Cassie, where was it? In Sean Combs' LA home. We were recording. What did he do? He was saying, "Where the F is my food?" He grabbed a black skillet with eggs and tried to hit her over the head. Cassie dropped to the ground. What did she do? She was in a fetal position. Then what? Sean Combs was kicking her in the head and the body and then dragged her up to the first floor. Glass was breaking and yelling. I was scared for her and for me too. Did you intervene? No. Did you call the police? No. The next day, what happened? He said it had been passionate and she was okay, and that it would be better if we didn't talk, that people could end up missing. How did you understand that? Death. Diddy's team then yells objection. Then the judge calls a sidebar and ends her testimony for the day. But Dawn Richard will be back on Monday to give the rest of her full testimony against Diddy. But right before they brought Dawn Richard in, they actually had a Homeland Security agent testify against Diddy about when they came and arrested him to take him to jail. So let's go ahead and get into that. The government asked, when Sean Combs was arrested, where did you go? The Park Hyatt Hotel, room 2115, where he was staying. They show a picture to the jury of his hotel suite, and what did you do? We assigned a letter to each room and began to search. What was your role? I took photographs of items and then signed them on the 6051 form. What was found in the closet? They then show a picture to the jury, and it was plastic bags full of Johnson & Johnson baby oil and Astroglide bottles. And you're telling me Diddy is still doing this, knowing that they have already raided his house, knowing that they are about to blow down on him? What was found in the bathroom? Several bottles of baby oil, and they show that picture to the jury. Now the bedroom. What was found in the Louis Vuitton bag? Medication in the name of Frank Black. That is the name that Cassie Ventura said Diddy used as an alien.
Dawn also dropped this. She said there was a celeb-packed dinner. Usher was even there, where Diddy punched Cassie in the stomach. Everyone saw, security, staff, executives, and nobody stepped in. The van ride home? More silence. Cassie confronted him and still nothing. The whole room just froze, like they were afraid to speak up. Her entire testimony was insane, and it shook the courtroom.
Bags of pink powder found in the medicine bottles. And then they showed a picture to the jury of it being found and tested by Customs and Border Patrol. Reading from the slip where they tested it from, the pink powder was found to be K and MDMA in the bottle. And then they actually passed around the physical evidence to the jury. What was found in the black mini backpack? $9,000. Please take the cash out of the bag, and then the Homeland Security agent fans out the bills. Then the government says no further questions, and then Diddy's team starts a cross-examination, and they say, in the hotel room, did you see any bags and clothing indicating that a woman was staying there with him? Yes. And that's where they end the testimony of this Homeland Security agent. And honestly, I don't get Diddy's attorney's question on this, because if anything, I feel like it makes it look worse. Because you're saying you are finding substances that Cassie is alleging that he used, and you're also finding all of these bottles of baby oil in a hotel in New York. Even crazier about this is Diddy's attorney said way back when that Diddy went to New York because he knew that they were about to raid him. So he was turning himself in. He wanted to be closer when they came after him. But yet he has all of these illegal substances, the baby oil and everything, and he knew he was about to get arrested?
Next up was Carrie Morgan, Cassie's ex-BFF. She came forward with even more dirt, confirmed a lot of what Dawn said. She saw Diddy hurt Cassie. She got hurt too, and although she and Cassie aren't friends anymore, she made one thing very clear. What happened behind closed doors was not okay.
How did Mr. Combs act? He would yell at Cassie. She lost her confidence big time. She lost her spark. Did Mr. Combs talk down to Cassie? Yes, about her looks and who she talked to. Did he contact you looking for her? A lot. Sometimes he would call 50 times in a row. Would any other people call you for him? Yes, Christina Korm or KK. Did you witness assaults? Yes, first in the Hollywood Hills. Ruben was one of his security guards. What did Mr. Combs do to Cassie? He kicked her. What did she do? Nothing. I told Ruben to do something, and he indicated that he wouldn't. Then what? We left the house. Cassie and I were hiding by somebody's front steps. And the next time, in Jamaica, I saw him drag her by the hair. I ran back to get my purse and my phone so we could leave. What did you see next? I thought that she was knocked out, and then she got up and she ran into a wooded area. What happened next? There were 2 golf carts in the driveway. I got in one and Sean got in the other. We went in different directions looking for Cassie. Did you find her? Yes, and then we hid in a ditch whispering to each other. What about the incident at Cassie's Comstock apartment? Cassie came back with a hoodie covering her face, and then Sean came and tried to get in, hitting the door with the hammer, and I called D-Rock. And this is after that 2016 hotel incident that Cassie talked about in her testimony. Did he get in? No. And then the police came. What happened? Cassie wouldn't show them her ID. Nothing happened. They left a card. Read this message. Did you send an attachment? Yes, a photo of the card that the detective left. Did Mr. Combs ever assault you? Yes, he hit me with a wood coat hanger and choked me. Where did the hanger hit you? Behind my right ear. What did he express concerns about? Who Cassie was cheating on him with.
But that's not all. The courtroom drama just keeps unfolding. Carrie talked about why she and Cassie fell out, and let's just say it's messy. Add to that one of Diddy's former assistants also testifying. Yeah, the cracks in Diddy's fortress are showing.
It's day 6 of the Diddy trial, and Diddy's former personal assistant, David James, gives his testimony against Diddy. The government asked David James, "Why are you here?" "I've been subpoenaed." "Were you Combs' personal assistant?" "Yes, from 2007 to 2009. "Who is that in this photo?" That is David James. That is yourself? Yes. I went to college in Michigan and I later faxed my resume to Bad Boy. Where was the interview? 1710 Broadway. Who'd you meet? Tommy, his sister Kesha, and others. How did they test you for the job? They gave me 40 appointments and asked me to make a schedule. You had to know, for example, what time a particular show was on Hot 97. What did Mr. Combs ask you? To make a spreadsheet for Miami. I said I'd know his food and restaurant preferences. He asked me why I'd make a good assistant. I said, can't stop, won't stop, and I got the job. Did he have other assistants? Yes. David James, Miss Robles, Mr. Barber, and others. What would you do as an assistant? I'd work at Bad Boy till 5 and then go out to dinner and then to the studio till 3 a.m. We'd get a call time at the end of the night. Did you travel with Mr. Combs as well? Yes. Who were his security staff? D-Rock, Roger Bonds, and Uncle Paulie. You worked 20 hours a day? Yes, security did too. What did the security staff tell you? To stay in my lane. Who said that? Roger Bonds and Uncle Paulie. Focusing on Diddy's personal chef. Who is this? Chef Jordan. And this morning they were arguing that they wanted David James to talk about witnessing Diddy commit violence upon his chef Jordan. So we should see this come up tomorrow in his testimony against Diddy. But if you watch The Fall for Diddy, the documentary, you would have seen this chef Jordan talk about her experience working with Diddy and how toxic it was. When I heard her testimony on The Fall for Diddy, I automatically started thinking about another chef that Diddy had that sued him back in 2015, and he ended up settling with her in 2019 before all of this came out. In her lawsuit, she was claiming harassment and also being forced to work long hours without pay and also a hostile work environment. She claimed in this lawsuit that one of Diddy's former managers, James Cruz, who we've heard Cassie Ventura bring up in her testimony against Diddy, commented on the size of her lips. She also alleged in this lawsuit that Diddy and another one of her bosses that worked for Diddy would keep asking her very inappropriate oriented questions. She also claimed in this lawsuit that Diddy made her work environment very, very hostile. She said one time she went to bring food for Diddy and Diddy yelled at her and said, "Can't you see I have company?" when he was with his ex, Gina Hunt.
And let's not forget Gina. People aren't talking about her yet, but she might be the ace that blows the lid off the whole case. What she's been through, absolutely devastating.
When was the first time you became pregnant with Diddy's child?
The first time was October 2014, but because I met him in February and then I got pregnant in October the same year.
Okay. And you mind telling me what happened with that pregnancy?
Well, I told him and he was like, you're gonna get an abortion, right? And then I was like, I don't know. And then he offered me $50,000 to get rid of it, but I turned it down because I just loved him and I was like trying to prove that I wasn't the girl that wanted him for money. Okay. I just care about him. And I just wanted him to be nice to me. That's it.
With all of this spilling out day by day, people are looking back at old stories and thinking, maybe there was truth in the whispers all along. What do you think this mountain of new evidence will do to Diddy's fate? Drop your thoughts in the comments.